At the reunion after SAT, I confessed my love to Liam Johnson in front of the whole class, without even looking up. He spoke. "Emily Parker, we're not right for each other. It's okay. In losing a round of truth or dare anyway," I said, waving my hand in disbelief. 7 years later, it was time for another class reunion. When my former classmates saw me coming with Liam Johnson, they gossiped and asked what our relationship was. I do not change color. Tone flat. "He is my boss." The crowd heard. Inevitably, some disappointment. At this point, Liam Johnson coldly opened his lips. "Just to remind you, we are married." He tilted his head and looked at me and said, "Jong. Tai. Liam Johnson transferred to our school during his senior year. As soon as he arrived, the guidance counselor put him at my desk. I was very happy. After all, I could get close to handsome guys every day. But I didn't expect this handsome guy to be so grumpy, faced with a desk full of love letters. He yelled, "You're treating Buddy like a trash can, aren't you? What all to my desk to throw? And not a collector of waste." And then next time directly packaged to send principal's office. In the face of classmates to the question. He snickered. "This question has just been taught by Lao Zhou? You don't know? Then I'll go and reflect with Lao Zhou." You say he speaks too fast in class. So soon he was no longer the center of attention. After all, we're all seniors now, and nothing is more important than academics. And I had a clean slate. I no longer had to worry about going to the restroom and coming back to a seat that was taken. Occasionally, a girl would sneak a peek at Liam Johnson from outside the classroom. He let out a long sigh. "Buddy, I'm a circus performer." I couldn't hold back my laughter. Liam Johnson heard it and looked at me incredulously. One can't, or at least shouldn't, fall so hard, right? I laughed even louder. However, soon I couldn't laugh anymore, because the results of the first monthly exam came out. I looked at Liam Johnson's 148 points in math. Then I looked at my glaring 45 points. For the first time, I sighed inwardly. The gap between man and man is really bigger than the gap between man and pig. I was never good at math. In the words of my math teacher, no one was as consistent as Emily Parker. That's true. It was always in the 40s. More stable than a triangle. So, once again, I was called into the guidance counselor's office for tea. I was accompanied by Liam Johnson. The guidance counselor said bitterly, "Emily Parker, there's not much time left before the SAT. How come your math score hasn't improved at all?" I kept my head down and didn't say a word. But it's normal for you girls to be bad at math. So when it comes to senior year of high school, the boys' energy is much stronger than yours, and you girls are only good for learning the rote memorization of language and English. The guidance counselor blathered on and on. I wanted to retort, but my childhood education made me unable to say anything against the teacher. But while I thought so, Liam Johnson thought otherwise. He frowned and said, "What era is this, teacher? And you still uphold the prejudice that girls can't learn math? There are so many excellent female mathematicians in the world that you might as well learn more about them." Surprisingly, the guidance counselor didn't get angry, but said in a calm tone, "Teacher has been teaching for many years, and this is the law we have concluded. Girls' brains are not as flexible as boys." I turned my head sideways and quietly glanced at Liam Johnson, and saw him open his mouth as if he was about to speak. He was busy gently tugging on his sleeve. Luckily, He knew enough not to continue arguing with the guidance counselor. The conversation ended with Liam Johnson promising to tutor me in math after school. I didn't really take it to heart. What kind of person is Liam Johnson? I've seen him get impatient when people ask him questions. I didn't dare to ask him, but I didn't expect him to listen to what the guidance counselor said. As soon as he returned to the classroom, he snatched my answer card. 2 minutes later, his eyebrows were so furrowed that he seemed to be able to trap a fly. He said, "Emily Parker, did you really come to math class?" I was a little upset and disliked him back. That's right. I always ask my servant, Mary, to give the lessons for me. Liam Johnson burst out laughing at my words. Get your attitude right. I was completely impatient. You leave me alone. Then tell me how you're going to get into college with that math score? He pointed at my score and raised his eyes to me. I misdirected his gaze and snatched back my answer key. What does it matter to you if I get in or not? Liam Johnson laughed at this. Yes. What's it got to do with me? Buddy, I'm such a nosy dog. After this incident, Liam Johnson didn't talk to me for several days. I thought he would take the initiative to talk to the guidance counselor about changing his position. But after waiting and waiting, he still sat next to me. I tried to apologize to him a few times, but the words just wouldn't come out. Until Friday when school ended. Everyone in the classroom had left. Only he and I were left packing up our things. I wondered in my heart. This person used to run away as soon as the school bell rang. What is he doing today? Could it be that he has been getting more and more angry in the past few days, and is now taking advantage of the fact that no one is there to beat me up? I couldn't help but speed up as I thought. Suddenly, Liam Johnson slammed a test paper down on my desk. I was shocked and took a small step back slightly. The paper for the monthly exam. I've written the detailed procedure for each question on the top, and all the solutions I could think of. He lengthened his voice. You go back and don't be lazy. Read it properly. At the end, he added, if you don't understand, call or WeChat to ask me. I looked down and saw that he had indeed written his phone number in the most prominent place. I was just about to speak. I heard him say, I will come up with some similar questions based on this paper and test you on Monday. So get ready. Thank you. I gritted my teeth. Liam Johnson raised a big smile. No. Have a good weekend. My table mate. I went home and put the incident behind me and focused on watching TV. As for Liam Johnson's phone number, I didn't even save it until the next day when a relative came over for dinner. She bragged about her grandson's good grades in the 2nd grade. At the end, she even mentioned, where's Sinew? Sinew was very competitive that year, and he got into the best high school in the city. So it won't be much of a problem for him to get into 985 or 211. Will it? I stammered and didn't know what to say, and couldn't spit out a single sentence after half a day of slurring. She lightly glanced at me. It doesn't matter if your grades are bad. If you ask me, it's useless for you girls to read so many books. You might as well get married to a rich man earlier. Hearing this, my mom's tongue stood up. Although you are the elders, but there is no reason to talk like this. What girls do not need to study more? Early to marry. What are these words all? The meal ended unhappily. Afterwards, my mom was washing dishes in the kitchen and I went over to help her. Looking at her silence, I whispered, Mom, don't be angry. Mom's not angry. It's your aunt's grandmother who talks too much. She turned sideways to look at me. Sinew, It's okay to get bad grades. Studying is the best way out, but not the only way out. Dad, and I prefer you to be happy. She wiped her hands clean and patted my shoulder in a soothing manner, as if she was coaxing a small child. Don't take her words to heart. Our family sinew is already very, very good. I looked up at her. Her brows were warm and soft. The evening breeze blew the broken hair in front of her forehead. She looked gentle. I nodded and said nothing. When I got back to my room, I sat down at my desk and rummaged through the paper Liam Johnson had given me in my book bag. And then I dialed his number. His voice was lazy. Hello. This is Liam Johnson. Liam Johnson. It's Emily Parker, I said with determination as I gripped the phone. Can you tutor me in math? Afraid he'd say no. I continued. I'll pay for it. Buddy, would I give a shit about your little money? Liam Johnson laughed softly. You can have Buddy. But I don't want money. No money for what? What do you want? I blurted out. When I said that, Liam Johnson on the other end of the phone laughed even harder. Emily Parker. What's going on in your head? I don't want the money or the hijacking. It's just something I'm not thinking about right now. So just keep that in mind. I was a little stunned, then spoke up. That's fine. You're a man of your word. Don't worry. Buddy, a promise is a promise. Thus began the agonizing life of Liam Johnson. He couldn't understand why I couldn't do anything with functions, derivatives, series, and even why I occasionally got statistics wrong. Every time I told him what I couldn't do, Liam Johnson would look at me with a confused look on his face. What are you talking about? The meaning of this question is clear enough. Is your language grade real? Why are you such a poor reader that you can't even understand what the most basic question is asking? As a result, he said to me more than once, Emily Parker, I am not going to be able to teach you. Every time this happened, I would give him a loop of his saying, Buddy's word is his bond. Kudos to my wit. So Liam Johnson aged a great deal under my ravages, which were visible to the naked eye. Senior year went by fast, and soon the first model year came. The day the results came out. It happened to be Sunday. The school gave us a rare day off. Before I even woke up, Liam Johnson called. Emily Parker. Have you checked your grades yet? His voice was so loud it nearly deafened me. To protect my ears, I held the phone away from my ear. No. Did you get your grades? Guess how much you got in math this time? He yelled. 110 all. Emily Parker. You're so competitive. As it turns out, I was really prescient. Liam Johnson was a trumpet in another life. It's so loud. Thanks. So, what grade did you get? I did my best to keep my eyes open to keep from falling asleep. ID already checked my answers, so I wasn't surprised by the score. It's just that Liam Johnson was probably scared by the fact that no matter how much I brushed up on the questions, my score always stayed in the 40s or 50s. So much so that he always looked at me and sighed. Emily Parker. You're at the top of your class in everything except math. Why can't you learn math? Of course. He would also doubt himself and think that there was something wrong with the study method he had developed for me. It's just that this is really rare. So, he's really noisy now. Full marks. Why do you ask? Liam Johnson said bashfully, changing his previous excitement. You're so not human. I let out a long sigh and sat up from the bed. Let me buy you dinner. Thank you for tutoring me all this time. An hour later, when I arrived at the agreed burger joint, I saw Liam Johnson holding a black umbrella and playing with his phone down on the curb. The young man's posture was straight, wearing a black down jacket, with a smile on his eyes. Standing in the snow was a scroll of geon and ink painting that couldn't have been more beautiful. I walked over and waved my hand in front of his eyes. Liam Johnson looked up at me. In his deep eyes, I saw myself reflected in them. The scene should have been romantic. But Liam Johnson had a long mouth. I heard him speak with horror. "Emily Parker, how come you've gained so much weight in one day?" I wanted to punch him. Luckily, I resisted. But can anyone tell me why Liam Johnson carries a math book with him when he goes out to eat? It'll be a while before the food is served. So see if you can finish the 2 big problems. He glanced at his watch. Look serious. From the SAT, only more than 100 days left. The time is tight, task. Although that this test is good, but still cannot relax. As the saying goes, pride will lose. I have nothing to say. I can only bow my head and write questions. Liam Johnson looked very satisfied. Children can be taught. But Buddy is still very talented to be a teacher. That's not good enough. You're too talented to be a teacher, I said. But in my heart I couldn't help but spit. He's like that. When he scolds me in a weird way, even Lindayu would have to bow down to him. It's only because I'm mentally strong that I didn't break down. I can't let him go and mutilate the flowers of our country. My impression of the SAT in the past 2 days is already blurred. It's as if I just had a dizzying dream. I thought I would be nervous sitting in the test center. But no. I calmly completed the most important test of the first 18 years of my life. I thought I would be excited when the exam was over. Finally. I didn't have to stay up all night writing questions and be anxious about my grades. But no, even when I walked out of the examination room, everyone was very quiet, like saying goodbye to high school life silently. My heart was empty. The many books I memorized, the many questions I brushed up on, and the countless tests I took before were all in preparation for the SAT. Now, the SAT is over. Everything seems to have lost its significance. But before I could continue to be sad, I heard someone calling my name. I turned my head back. The sun was lazily blanketing the entire campus, and boisterous and enthusiastic music was playing from the radio station. In my point of view, Liam Johnson, his white shirt filled with wind, runs toward me with a teenager's full heart. I heard him say, "Emily Parker, the SAT is over." I think he said something else, but I didn't catch it, nor did I ask. I don't remember much after that. I think the class president said we were going to a potluck, so we all gladly went. Later on, I lost a round of truth or dare with a couple of girls who were having a good time, and they got me to confess my love for Liam Johnson. And that's how it started. I didn't really care. After all, I didn't like Liam Johnson at the time. He was wild and shiny, and I was timid and weak and had nothing to offer. We just didn't fit. After dinner, we said our goodbyes and farewells, and said we'd meet again in the future. There were just some people I never saw again. That night, it was Liam Johnson who drove me home. He, like me, seemed to have forgotten what had just happened. As usual, the two of us walked side by side. As we got closer, I could smell the scent of alcohol on his breath, faint and mingling in the silence of the night. I said, "Liam Johnson, how did you do on your test?" "It was okay." He was less than enthused and whispered back, "How about you?" "It was okay." After some thought, I added, Liam Johnson. Thank you for not giving up on me this year. Liam Johnson stopped and looked me straight in the eyes. Emily Parker. The person you should be most thankful to is yourself. You never wanted to give up. My eyes sank at his words and I almost shed a tear. Since Liam Johnson agreed to tutor me, I haven't slacked off a single day. Every day and every night I've been brushing up on problems. When my grades didn't go up, I thought of giving up. But Liam Johnson is really fierce. I just had to keep on learning. Keep on learning. The more I thought about it, the more I felt that my year had been very difficult. And in the end, I couldn't hold back my tears. When Liam Johnson saw this, he was busy comforting me. Emily Parker. What's wrong with you? Why are you crying? I didn't say anything. I just cried. Liam Johnson panicked even more and pulled me into his arms, smoothing down my long hair, gently smoothing it one by one. Okay. XINU. Let's not cry anymore. Okay. Are you in pain somewhere? Are you mad that Buddy didn't agree to your confession just now? You were not just shaking the dice. How can a confession that is lost in this game be considered a confession? Buddy and I listened to him getting further and further away, so I had to pull myself out of his arms, and then commanded him to go and buy me some water in his shocked expression. Liam Johnson was filled with helplessness, but resigned himself to going to a nearby convenience store to get me a bottle of ice water. Put it on your eyes. You're crying like a peach. People who don't know think I did something to you. I glanced at him. He was a tall and thin teenager, wearing a black t-shirt and black pants, with fine black hair spread out in front of his forehead. His skin was white. His features were delicate, and he was the kind of handsome with a little bit of evil. When he saw that I was just standing there and didn't take the water, he had to hold my head down with one hand and put a compress on my eyes with the bottle in the other. I really owe you from my previous life. He said this with a helpless and gentle tone, even in his nice eyes. I saw my own melon face full of chagrin. I suddenly felt my heart beating so fast. It's over. I'm not going to have an arrhythmia. Am I? Liam Johnson reached out and waved his hand in front of my eyes with a smile on his brow. Emily Parker. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Emily Parker? Mom. This guy is totally messing with me. I inclined my head and laughed dryly. I'm hot. It seems that you can't look at handsome guys too much. In case of sudden death from arrhythmia, it's not worth it. Liam Johnson and I didn't get into the same university. After all, the world of the schoolmasters is not something that can be attained by the school dregs like me with a little bit of effort. I didn't mind. Really. I don't ask for much. Just a book. Not to mention the fact that I actually got into Southern University. Which is just a little bit away from Columbia University. It's a great honor to hit the jackpot. I want to give Liam Johnson a big shout-out. SAT preparation. Choose Liam Johnson Education. Liam Johnson Education. To help you dream of famous schools. To achieve excellence in life. After the end of the military training, the pleasant college life began. A fart. Law school classes were outrageous. Even on Saturdays, we had classes. So much so that I was either in class or on my way to class every day. Who the hell said it would be easy once you got into college? I was lied to so badly. That day, after the last class, my roommate suggested going to the first cafeteria to eat ribs. When I got to the entrance of the cafeteria, my roommate suddenly pulled me down. Sinew. Do you think that guy looks like that handsome guy from your high school desk that you showed us? Which one? I was a bit confused. Oops. That's Dog who tortured you for a whole year in your senior year. My roommate's voice was so loud that it caused people passing by to cast gossiping glances at the two of us. I didn't hold back from covering my face with my book bag, and in my mind I began to regret my earlier rant in the dorm about how inhumane Liam Johnson was. Suddenly, a man stepped in front of me. Looking up, Liam Johnson's face fell into my eyes. I was shocked as to why he came back white so quickly. He was as black as if he had just returned from digging coal in a coal plant. Is there any fairness left in this world? Liam Johnson looked at me and smiled grimly. What are you hiding from? If you have the ability to call me Dog behind my back, you don't have the ability to see me? I forgot. This guy is the most vindictive. In the end, I had to spend a lot of money to treat Liam Johnson to dinner. It really made my poor college student, who was not rich at all, worse off. As it turns out, Liam Johnson is a man with a bad conscience. The Mexican restaurant he ordered from was so bad that I never ate there again. So bad that I haven't eaten at Mexican restaurant for a second time since then. Maybe my face was so painful that the clerk came over several times to ask me if I was feeling sick. Finally, I said to him, Liam Johnson, I'm your table mate, not your enemy. Liam Johnson scratched his head. Embarrassed. Emily Parker. I really didn't mean it. I'm really sorry. I also heard someone say that there is a new store here, and I thought you would like it. Why don't you let me pay for this meal? I thought things would end here, but I didn't realize it was just beginning. Because I had diarrhea. There was a girl in my dorm who was in clinical school. She had just started to learn something and was in the state of having a little knowledge, but not much. So she went from suspecting that I had food poisoning to flipping through a book and telling me that I might have food poisoning. I was scared to death. I immediately took a leave of absence from the guidance counselor and prepared to go to the hospital to register. As soon as I left the school, Liam Johnson called. He asked, Emily Parker, do you have many classes today? Do you want to? I stopped and said, I'm getting ready to go to the hospital right now. Half an hour later, I met with Liam Johnson at the hospital. I looked at him angrily as he followed behind me coyly. He looked like an aggrieved daughter-in-law. The doctor said it was just a common intestinal infection and prescribed some medication. The doctor typed into the computer while saying, I'll prescribe you some Pepto-Bismol. I looked at him blankly. What kind of medicine? No Korean, please. The doctor was stunned for a long time before he reacted and forced a smile. It's Montelukast, to stop diarrhea, and a capsule to be taken after meals. What kind of medication should I take after meals? I asked blankly. In the end, I walked out of the clinic amidst their laughter. To make amends, Liam Johnson offered to take me to a movie. I don't remember what it was. It was pretty touching anyway. So the whole movie I was busy crying, and Liam Johnson was busy handing me paper. He was a little helpless and lowered his voice and said, How can you cry so much? It's all fake. It's acting. I mumbled. I told you to go watch a horror movie, but you're dragging me to watch this. Liam Johnson. But I'm scared of horror movies. Me. Horror movies are fake too. That's different. Liam Johnson said. I gave him a look and then whispered, Coward. Liam Johnson not to be outdone. Crybaby. Me. Childish. It was hard for the movie to end. So I ran straight to the bathroom after instructing Liam Johnson to wait for me outside. I swore that I would never drink so much Coke during a movie again. I didn't expect to finish my life's business. As soon as I stepped outside, I bumped into a girl talking to Liam Johnson. I guess Liam Johnson is quite a charmer. As expected. After knowing him for a long time, I've become immune to Liam Johnson's face. I've forgotten all about him when he first transferred here in high school. It's my fault. I've been focusing on his inner beauty and neglecting his outer beauty for the past year or so. What a sin. Raising her eyes. The little girl had bangs. Was born with a quiet face, round face and eyes, and smiled somewhat restrainedly. Looking very cute. I backed up a few steps, hid aside, took out my cell phone, ready to record the important moment in Liam Johnson's life. But why were they all looking towards me? What are you looking at me for? You guys are the stars of the show. It can't be because they saw me embarrassed at Liam Johnson. I see. I put down my cell phone and pretended that I lost something and looked down in my bag. Not long after, I saw the girl leaving. I saw her eyes before she left. Embarrassed and sad. Like water-soaked glass. I'm a little confused. When I looked up, I realized that Liam Johnson had stood in front of me at an unknown time. For eyes met, and the atmosphere became a little strange. I averted my gaze and asked, "You don't like girls with bangs?" Not a fan. Liam Johnson's tone was a little bad. After he said that, he turned around and strutted out the door. I nodded and followed his lead. Did I just show up at the wrong time? Without waiting for Liam Johnson to answer, I continued. Let's just say we can't go out to the movies together. It's easy for people to get the wrong idea. It's not the same as it used to be. Soon I'll have a boyfriend too. He heard the sound slow down the pace, frowned lightly, looked down at me. You have a favorite person? No, I said, at the sound of his voice. His eyebrows spread out, and he smiled at me with hooked lips. That's not it. Yeah, oh. I forgot. We're both single now. What a sad self-realization. There were no words along the way. When we walked down to the dormitory floor, I was just about to open my mouth to say goodbye to him. Just then I heard Liam Johnson call out my name. I have to say, his voice was low and very nice when he called my name. What's wrong? I asked him. We have a basketball game at the college tomorrow. Do you have time to come watch? He said carelessly. It starts at 4:00 p.m. Let's go eat together after it's over. And I'll send you back. Okay. I was stunned. Then laughed. Are there any cute guys? I'll go if there are handsome guys. Yes, there are plenty. I don't know why, but I always felt that Liam Johnson's words seemed to have been squeezed out from between his teeth. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll ask my roommates if they're going. I'm such a good Chinese roommate that I think about them even when I have a cute guy to look at. Liam Johnson said softly. I'm sure I'll be there tomorrow. After thinking about it, I said, Liam Johnson. But I still want to advise you. You don't have to reject a girl if she likes you. You can learn more about her. Or you. Before I could finish my sentence, I was interrupted by Liam Johnson. But I don't like her. Why should I get to know her better? I lowered my eyes, a little overwhelmed. It's me being nosy. I apologize. Only Liam Johnson seemed to get angrier. He gave me a deep look, averted his eyes, and finally said, Forget it. I'm going home now. I'll see you tomorrow. I looked at Liam Johnson's faraway figure and was a bit puzzled. What exactly is he angry about? Although Liam Johnson's anger was inexplicable, the next day I gave up my precious weekend to watch him play. It was around 4:00 p.m. The sky was blue, and the trees were swaying in the wind. So it couldn't have been a better time. My roommate and I casually took our seats, and when I looked up, I saw Liam Johnson waving at me from afar. Seeing this, my roommate, who was sitting beside me, put her arm around my shoulder. Emily Parker, honestly, are you and Liam Johnson having a situation lately? What's going on with us? He was mad at me yesterday. I complained. My roommate exploded. What? I managed to break free from her clutches and said, a girl hit on him, and he got mad when I said he shouldn't have said no. It's true that a man's heart is like a needle in the bottom of the sea. My roommate looked at me with puzzled eyes and whispered, Emily Parker, don't you like him? Have you heard the saying, stay single and thrive. Ace your PhD solo. I sighed. At our age now, how can we spend our time on love? My roommate was stunned and didn't say anything for a while. And only after a while did she say, but you spend almost all of your time, other than going to class, on sleeping, right? I didn't sleep much in high school. This is catching up on sleep. I took it very much for granted. Speaking of which, I suddenly remembered, during the SAT period, our school held a basketball tournament to relieve the pressure of seniors. Our class was lucky and took second. But after that game, Liam Johnson and I were invited to the guidance counselor's office. I was quite familiar with the matter, and I didn't forget to reassure Liam Johnson to relax. What shocked me, however, was that the guidance counselor actually suspected Liam Johnson and I of having an early crush based on a picture taken by who knows who during the basketball game. I scanned the picture on the teacher's cell phone. It was me sitting on the steps handing Liam Johnson water. The sunlight pouring through the leaves on our shoulders looked very beautiful. Looking more closely, we were both smiling out of the corners of our eyes. There was indeed something so interesting about it. This photography guy is so skilled. Those who didn't know thought we were really dating. I'm glad it was a false success. The guidance counselor was very kind. You two can't fall in love at this juncture. Emily Parker, your grades are not easy now. And Liam Johnson, you're the school's key cultivation target, which is going to be the future of the famous school. Can't afford to delay. I repeatedly assured him that there was absolutely nothing going on between us. There is also Liam Johnson's one-sided blow to me and Squeeze. However, I didn't dare to say this sentence. I was afraid that Liam Johnson would retaliate against me. In case I was asked to write 2 more math papers, it would be disastrous. What did Liam Johnson say then? It seems to let the teacher rest assured that we will wait until college to fall in love. I think Liam Johnson is a really good kid. He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut when he's in front of the guidance counselor. How nice to say it like I did. It's because of his words. We were both talked to by the guidance counselor for at least 10 more minutes. My precious study time. That's how it was delayed. I shook my head, putting those not-so-great memories behind me and focusing on the game. Liam Johnson's game had improved so much from high school. It gave me a rare sense of old mother relief. At halftime, he ran over to me and asked for water. He didn't seem completely out of breath, and with his puffed-up face, he looked a little funny. I stifled my laughter and handed him a bottle of water. Who knows that this person is really getting more and more shameless? His throat rolled a bit. You help me unscrew it. I don't have the strength. Okay, young master. The next moment, he took the water from my hands and drank it. He had just played soccer. His hands were covered with a layer of wet sweat, and his hands were very cool. The moment he touched them made my heart a little numb. I hurriedly looked down, but then I saw the shadows of the two of us intertwined at my feet. It looked, well, kinda like that. Wait, Emily Parker. Calm down. What does it look like? Liam Johnson didn't seem to notice anything was wrong with me. He said a quick hello to my roommates and left again. That day, Liam Johnson's college won the competition. I saw him say something to his fellow teammates and then turn around and run towards me. The sun had set, a red haze coloring the sky, and in the midst of the hustle and bustle of the crowd, Liam Johnson ran towards me in stride like he had done countless times before. I'll admit it. It was indeed hard not to be heartbroken. As the end of the semester approached, I was busy as a whole. It's true that if you choose your major well, you'll win the SAT at the end of the year. I had no choice but to run to the library every day, and I didn't even have time to reply to my messages. So, the day I saw Liam Johnson again was the end of the exam. We had been tortured by the final exam for half a month. So after the last exam, we went out for dinner. It was 7 in the evening after dinner, and it was already dark. I remember that day, back past the night market. Walking along, the tantalizing aroma came to my face. The stalls are tossing in the oil of the barbecue gluten and meat skewers, fat and thin, burnt and tender, mixed with cumin and chili powder in the air filled with the aroma. I didn't resist the temptation and bought 2 more grilled sausages to hold in my hand. After arriving at the school, the dormitory is not far away as it winds down a crossroads. As far as the eye could see, there were tall cherry trees and short hydrangeas planted on both sides of the road, but they were all past their blooming period at this point, so there wasn't much of a view to enjoy. Looking down from a high place, there are a few streetlights dotted with them. The design of the street lamps is very nice antique, quiet like a watercolor painting, with the magic of making people feel at ease. When I arrived at the dormitory building, I saw a clear and elegant figure. The teenager stood under the streetlight downstairs, his head lowered, his broken bangs capped down, covering his eyebrows. It was Liam Johnson. My roommate looked at me and smiled impishly before running into the dorm building. I sighed softly, only to see Liam Johnson walking towards me, the corners of his mouth hooked up slightly in a nice curve. When he got closer, I once again sighed in my heart. Liam Johnson's eyelashes are really long, and his hair is so much longer. I touched my own hair, which was getting smaller and smaller because of my study of the law, and was a little envious. I wonder if he can donate some hair follicles to me when I get a hair transplant in the future. But based on his petty look, it's most likely that he can't. You didn't answer the many calls I made to you, Liam Johnson said. I fished my cell phone out of my bag, and indeed there were about 10 missed calls. Lifting my eyes to the Liam Johnson in front of me, I suddenly felt that he was a little aggravated. So I lowered my voice. We went to a potluck. I had it on silent. Liam Johnson whispered, little heartless. It was soft, but I heard it. When I got closer, I asked him, have you been drinking? A little. Liam Johnson gave me a hand gesture, but I'm a good drinker. I just, I said. Just what? He didn't say anything and spread his palm in front of my eyes. A small jewelry box. When I opened it, it was a necklace. A thin piece of silver chain with a tiny crystal hanging from it. Simple and delicate. Liam Johnson looked at me. It's for you. I was surprised. No way. Young master. You still have the habit of giving gifts everywhere when you are drunk. I didn't take it. So Liam Johnson shoved the jewelry box into my hand. No. You can't give gifts even if you're drunk. I'm not drunk. He paused, as if he had finally gotten up the courage. Emily Parker. I like you. I looked up. His eyes were clear, not even half drunk. I stared at Liam Johnson for a few seconds, but I was defeated and had to look away from the grilled sausage I was holding. The sausage smelled really good. After a long time, I whispered, Liam Johnson, what you said before. The two of us don't fit well. He lowered his eyes slightly and locked eyes with me, a sentiment in his eyes that I couldn't read. That's because the timing is not right, I said that. How are we not suitable? Both single and no one. Not quite suitable, right? I was a little helpless and smiled at him. But Liam Johnson, you don't like me. You may be feeling like you need a relationship right now. And it just so happens that you've known me for so long. And we've been talking to each other for quite some time. And you're more familiar with each other. So that's why you're saying this. But have you ever thought about the fact that it's precisely because we've been together all this time, from high school to college, that you're taking this as a like? These words were said to Liam Johnson, yet they were also said to myself, because it's not just him. Occasionally I wonder if I really like Liam Johnson, like when my roommate asked me and I didn't really know what to say in response and just blurted it out, and when he comforted me after the SATs. Every time he ran towards me, I really do wonder if that's like. But then again, I was too aware of the distance between the two of us, like our math scores at the beginning. So now when faced with Liam Johnson's confession, I just feel terrified. At that, Liam Johnson rested his tongue against his jaw and said, Emily Parker, haven't you ever noticed that I like you? My liking for you didn't start today. In other words, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't have been tutoring you in math all through high school. He paused and then continued, I'm a very selfish person. And this whole wasting my time thing is just for you. Liam Johnson bent over, forcing me to look at him, and then said in a single word, What do I figure? It's always been you. Emily Parker. I was too stunned to speak by him and moved back a few steps slightly. In the middle of the day, I opened my lips. Liam Johnson. You're drunk. I will send you back first. These things. We will talk about it later. Don't change the subject. It's not easy for me to borrow wine and courage to come and talk to you about this today. Just tell me one thing. Liam Johnson opened his mouth and asked, Do you like me? What to do in the face of straight ball confession? Online waiting. Quite urgent. I finally agreed to give Liam Johnson a try first. I was thinking that maybe the next day when he sobered up, he would back out or he wouldn't even remember it. What I didn't realize was that Liam Johnson was actually recording me. Okay. Family. Let's just say I'm in a rabbit's den. Forget it. We'll split it up later. I just didn't realize that Liam Johnson and I had been trying for 6 years. Because in the 7th year, we got our license. After getting the license in the morning, Liam Johnson pulled me to go to the class reunion in the evening. When my former classmates saw me coming with Liam Johnson, they gossiped and asked what our relationship was. I didn't want too much attention. Not to mention, since we both got that red book, Liam Johnson had informed everyone he could. Not just people, but even our neighbors' cats and dogs. I had to ask him, when you got into Columbia University, did you tell the whole world that you were guaranteed admission to graduate school? What's there to tell around? Isn't it a normal thing to do? Liam Johnson looked puzzled and added, seriously, I feel like I'm dreaming right now. You actually went to get a license with me. I had nothing to say, so I kept silent. Over the years, our relationship has been stable, and we seldom have any quarrels. So, isn't getting married a matter of course? How come in the eyes of Liam Johnson? As if what magic drama. Therefore, in the face of the students' questions, I had to face without changing color. Tone flat. He is my boss. When the crowd heard this, they were inevitably a little disappointed. At that moment, Liam Johnson coldly opened his lips. Just to remind you, we are married. He inclined his head and looked at me and said word for word, Jong. Two. Good guy. I said why he was so excited to see a class reunion today. Dare I say it's because he brought me here for the official announcement. These words really stirred up 1,000 waves. There were loud congratulations. Back then I thought you two could make it. And it really did. Have you organized the wedding yet? Let's go and witness the love that goes from school uniform to wedding dress. Liam Johnson answered with one arm around me. I think if he had a tail, he'd be wagging it up in the air by now. Of course. I also heard someone say, Emily Parker can be regarded as the fruit of success. Back then, she ran after Liam Johnson all day long. And at the end of the SAT, she confessed her love to Liam Johnson and was rejected. So it's true. People still need to be thick-skinned. I was just about to dislike him. Liam Johnson suddenly pulled me closer to him. People do need thick skin. If I didn't have thick skin, I probably wouldn't have been able to chase after my wife. The night before my wedding with Liam Johnson, my mom slept with me. She held my hand and sighed with emotion. You've grown from such a small child to such a big girl in the blink of an eye. But I still feel that you're still the same little girl who follows me around and asks me questions all the time. She said, Liam Johnson is a good boy. And over the years, we've gotten to know him well. So your father and I are comfortable with you being with him. Moonlight poured in through the cracks in the curtains, brightening up the room for a few moments. I turned my head slightly to look at my mom, and noticed that she seemed to be crying. Mom, Liam Johnson is nice. I was thinking that if we broke up, you might not want to let go of Liam Johnson. I joked. My mom was probably like a mother-in-law looking at her son-in-law. The more she looked at him, the more she liked him. Whenever my mom and I would talk on the phone, Liam Johnson would come over. And then, it would turn into a scene where they would be chatting away, leaving me on the sidelines. So, in my opinion, my mom loves Liam Johnson more than she loves me as her own daughter. Your father and I do like Liam Johnson. He's nice to you and smart. But, my mom said, part of the reason is that you like him, and if you like him, how could Mom and Dad not? I pursed my lips lightly and hugged my mom's arm, tears streaming down my face. After a long time, I was about to fall asleep. I heard someone softly say in my ear, We, XINU, must be happy. Liam Johnson Extra. Transferring to another school is already annoying. But every day I have to be surrounded by people like monkeys. It's really annoying. My classmates are also stupid. Every time I go to the restroom or come back from getting water and see that someone else has taken her seat, I don't know how to be strong and ask them to give up their seat. Forget it. I'll just refuse to be asked any more questions. Why does someone only get 45 points in math? Did they just write multiple choice questions? Emily Parker asked me how I got 148. I said, "Is the perfect score 147? Emily Parker and I were called in for a talk. The guidance counselor gave me a very serious speech, and Emily Parker nodded her head. However, I didn't agree with what she said. And just after I retorted a few times, Emily Parker tugged on my sleeve. Okay, I'll shut up. Emily Parker and I had a fight. It pisses me off that there are people in the world who don't want to get ahead. I don't care. I'm not going to help her. But how does she not know how to write a simple question? How did she manage to get everything wrong? From the idea to the solution? Forget it. I don't care about her. I waited at home all night and Emily Parker didn't call me. But it's okay. She's still a good student. Buddy was so relieved. Agreeing to tutor Emily Parker in math was probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life. Good thing she never gave up. When I was leaving the SAT center, I said, "Emily Parker, the SAT is over. Let's go to college in the same place." But she didn't seem to hear me. Emily Parker and I confessed our love. I know it's fake. I just saw a couple of them playing dice. But I'm happy to be fake. I'm afraid I'm being too obvious. So I'm just going to keep my head down and say we're not right for each other. Besides, buddy, am I that easy to chase? I got my wish. Emily Parker is at Southern University and I'm at Columbia University. So that's great. Emily Parker agreed to go out with me. It was a rough process, but it ended well. I was afraid she'd back out. I even recorded it. Kudos to me for being smart. In my 3rd year with Emily Parker, we went to meet both parents. I knew Mom and Dad would love her, and her parents loved me. We were a blessed couple. It's just that I wish she'd agreed to come home with me sooner. Made me worry for years that she'd break up with me. Emily Parker and I got married. I finally married the girl I'd had my heart set on since I was 17. And then it was time to move on to our married life. End of story.